We talk a lot about the order of things, rankings, GOATs, who stands in line for the greatest of all time, and Joe Montana was considered the greatest of all time before Brady won his fifth. But does Mahomes officially pass Montana if he three-peats?
If Brady's one and Montana's two, as it currently stands, and Mahomes is three based on his age and whatnot, then yeah, if he evens the score at 4 Super Bowls, then that means he's got the three-peat, something that neither one in front of him currently has, that Montana or Brady. Plus, you think naturally, if he wins the Super Bowl, he also wins the MVP, most likely.
Most likely.
Right? So that will put him at 4 MVPs, where he's tied currently with Joe Montana with 3. So he jumps him, I believe, with a long career still ahead of him. He's only in his 8th season, where Montana played 15 seasons. And so far, when you talk about win-loss playoff record, Mahomes got him there too, where he's 17-3 and Montana's 16-7. So it's like, I get it, but we really kind of, to me, it's like 6 in one hand, half a dozen the other. I take either one of the 3. So left hands to be my quarterback.
So if Mahomes three-peats, you would put him above Montana, but you still think it's splitting hairs?
It just depends. The three-peat gets it, though, for it. It just kind of gets it. But in the end, you know how I am, Joy, it's hard for me to be like, he's better than him. When you got 3 of the greatest at that position, you know, it's just like, it's just hard. And I understand Brady won 7. I get it. It's 7. That's the total number. I got it. But this dude with this three-peat in 4 in an 8-year, 4 out of a 5-year span, that's just crazy.
It is.
That's just bonkers.
Yeah, but he's still got a long way to go.
Yeah, he got a long road.
But I'm glad we brought Joe Montana into the equation, because I've been tired of hearing Mahomes, Brady, Mahomes, Brady. Wait, there was another stepping stone before we even get to Brady, which was Smoking Joe. So, you know, will he pass if they three-peat? Absolutely, because we love to make comparisons and we love to rank positions in all sports, fair or unfair. But I think it'll be undeniable because of the things Keyshawn said, the three-peat, the better record. I mean, they equally have the same regular season MVPs. Super Bowl MVPs, they're the same. And if Mahomes win a 4th Super Bowl, he'll most likely get MVP. I don't see, you know, anybody else pretty much on the radar of doing that. And so, and I hate to give up. He's my favorite quarterback, by the way, all time. Montana. You know, I'm born in Oakland. I watched San Francisco, and I saw a lot of Joe Montana and Jerry Rice combinations. But to just see what Mahomes is doing is nothing short of spectacular. Just to even make it to 3 Super Bowls in a row is difficult, and let alone win. This is the greatest run in the history of the modern era of football. I mean, yes, the New England Patriots had their dynasty, which expanded over 2 decades, but in this decade, it's by far Mahomes.
Well, and they're the first team that's going for a three-peat to actually make it back to the Super Bowl, to have the opportunity to win 3 in a row. You hear Paul almost announced L.A. there for a second.
No, it's fine. You know,
he had to catch himself.
No, it's all good. You can be born.
Montana.
You know, you can be born in the Bay.
I was born in the Bay.
But he was raised in L.A., so.
Yeah. We all love Joe Montana. I do think, though, Mahomes has to pass him. Because when you do something that's never been done in the history of the league.
In the history.
Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana, Tom Brady are the quarterbacks that have won 4 Super Bowls. If you are able to not only win...
I thought he had 5, Bradshaw, but I'm
Yeah, 4.
Yeah,
4.
For some reason I thought 5.
Joe Montana was perfect in Super Bowls. There's something to say for that as well. But, and I'm with you. I don't like to just erase history. I don't like to just jump to, like, this thing that we're watching right now is the most exciting and the best thing that we've ever seen. But Patrick Mahomes is really like that. And
he is like that.
We've seen him do it with a different cast. We've seen him go through different opponents. We've seen him do it on the road. We've seen him do it at home. And if they are able to three-peat, which no one has ever done before, and you both know how hard it is just to get an opportunity to win a championship, let alone to win a championship, and to do it 3 times in a row is unprecedented. So I do think when we're talking about rankings, and again, it doesn't diminish what Joe Montana did, but look, records are meant to be broken. You know, these standings are meant to be passed. Like, that's what the game is. Yeah. That's what the history of the game is. It doesn't mean that we forget it, but Mahomes is doing some spectacular, one-of-a-kind stuff. And if he is able to close the deal and win a 3rd Super Bowl, I think you got to put him up there. So let's continue talking about Kansas City Chiefs and Mahomes' wingman, Killer Travis Kelce. He's a crucial piece of the Chiefs' success and has already put together a Hall of Fame career, but he says he's not done yet. 3 years still playing football. Do you expect the Chiefs dynasty to continue without Travis Kelce?
That's a good question.
He's saying he's not going anywhere.
I don't think anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at his productivity over the last year, and he hasn't been the same. And look where the Chiefs are once again. You know, at one point he was the primary receiver, tight end, whatever you want to call him. And at this point in his career, he's sort of taken a back seat, you know, to some of the other young guys and you know, kind of let the offense kind of evolve around, you know, Worthy and Hollywood as he's been back, Pacheco. So can they win without him moving forward? Absolutely. I mean, Mahomes shown he can win with pretty much anybody. I mean, he doesn't have a number 1 guy right now. And the thing about Kelce, it's like this year, he hasn't always been there when you wanted him to, but he's been there when you needed him.
He's always on time.
He's always on time. I read that in the Bible somewhere. And so, absolutely, I think as long as you have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, this dynasty is going to continue.
Yeah, look, he's not retiring anytime soon. Okay, yes, he slowed down to some degree. Absolutely, when you get up in age as an athlete, you tend to slow down. But you still have championship pedigree and DNA in you. When certain situations present itself, you take advantage of those. Now, you talk about, are they still a dynasty? Will there still be a dynasty or this type of team without Travis Kelce? Absolutely, because they're going to go get them a nice little tight end that could do some of the same things like a Mason Taylor, your nephew out of LSU. They'll look for that. Brock Bowers, they'll look for that sort of guy that can fill the void before he retires. That way it's like almost in training to learn how to do certain things behind them. They're not going to get caught slipping. Yeah. They're just not. Organizations like this and head coaches like this, they don't operate like that. They know the end is near. It ain't there yet. It's almost like my Lakers, you know. They know the end is coming, and they went out and got a big fish.
For a particular player.
Yeah, for a particular player. Yeah. And that's the same thing. I just throw that dig in there real quick. That's the same thing with Travis Kelce. And they may already have somebody on their roster.
But they're actually winning.
They may have already have someone on their roster that they're thinking about that we don't know about that should slide in.
Championships.
Man, y'all won 1 damn championship in the last 75 years.
You're referring the Kansas City Chiefs to like LeBron, Kelce to the Lakers. I'm just saying, but they're actually winning.
We went out and got Luka, man.
Yeah, good job.
Why are you hating?
I'm not hating. I love the fact they did that.
They're having a good week, for sure. I expect the dynasty to continue without Travis. I don't know how many more years he's going to play. But, yeah, first of all, they're going to draft Mason Taylor. And we know that Kelce and the tight end's position is crucial to this offense. He is a one-of-one player.
Yeah.
Like, when we're talking about replacing arguably the greatest tight end ever and someone that has played a crucial role in not just the relationship and the, ascension of Patrick Mahomes, but someone that, to your point, Paul, you can count on in crucial clutch moments. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's not putting up the numbers that he has in years past, or putting up the touchdowns that he has in years past. It doesn't quite look the same, right. But he is still a threat and a problem. And any given Sunday, he can ruin your afternoon. And for all the talk about his numbers going down this season within tight ends, he's 3rd amongst tight ends in targets, 3rd in receptions, and 5th in receiving yards. So it's not like he's gone off a cliff. It just doesn't quite look the same as we're used to seeing him look. And then, you get into the whole fantasy football. Okay, like, is he still the guy? But he is still the guy. I don't know how many more years he's going to play. I would agree with you, though, they're not going to get caught slipping. They're going to have
not at all.
a succession plan for Travis Kelce, whether it is the tight end position or otherwise, because we know that they can dial it up in a lot of different ways.
Think about it this way, Joy. Every time that we've always said they're missing something, guess what they do?
Go get it.
They go get it. They go in their little trash can. They're like, dust Kareem Hunt off when Pacheco's hurt. Dust him off and bring him back. He knows the system. Oh, well, we down receivers. Tell you what, let's go get DeAndre Hopkins, even though the numbers aren't great for him in Kansas City. But we can use it. Oh, Juju, he's available. Dust him off. Bring him on in. I mean, that's literally every time you think about when something goes wrong with Kansas City's personnel, they go and find something, like a little Band-Aid, so to speak, that they could just put on there and they could continue. Oh, we lost Tyreek Hill in a trade. Oh, no problem. We're just going to run our offense a little bit different now, and we'll still win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, I think Tyreek Hill, honestly, was the biggest question mark. When Tyreek Hill was no longer there, everyone was like, how is this going to work?
Absolutely.
How is this going to look? How are they going to have the same level of production? How are they going to be able to win? Because he's such an explosive piece. And when they were able to move on from him.
They did it with a bunch of guys that's not Tyreek Hill. You take all 8 of them dudes and package them up, they're still not Tyreek Hill, but they was able to do it.
And also worth mentioning, they've had such consistency on the defensive side of the ball that we don't really talk about the Chiefs' defense as much as we should.
They don't get enough credit.
They deserve a lot of credit for these runs as well.
Without a doubt.
On the Eagles side, Jalen Hurts was a second-team All-Pro the last time these teams met in the playoffs and MVP finalist 2 years ago. He was asked yesterday how he's handled that loss moving forward. Key, do you expect to see the All-Pro version of Jalen Hurts on Sunday?
I do. I do expect to see the Jalen Hurts that we last laid our eyes on in the last several weeks. I just do. I think he has to be that for them to win the Super Bowl. If you go back 2 years ago and we keep talking about it, we saw him.
He was that in the last Super Bowl and they didn't win.
Yeah, but he made a mistake, though, Paul. The costly fumble is what affected the game. If he doesn't lose that football, Philadelphia wins the Super Bowl and he's the MVP. I mean, it's also, if they don't get the phantom foul, the pass interference at the end of the game, I mean, all of those sort of things that happens in these games. But I do expect that. Not only do I expect that he wants to show people like Paul Pierce and Joy Taylor that he has the ability to do the things that all of you people say he can't do.
Well, I've never said he can't do
I've
nothing.
never said
okay.
I never said he can't do nothing.
Man, ain't that amazing? That's so amazing.
This is
I just said he's not in the Big Four.
It's so amazing. What he wants to prove to you he is in the Big Four.
I don't think he's trying to prove that.
He said it himself. He listens to people like you. He listens to you. He does. He listens to you and Joy and the slander on his name.
I refuse to accept this. This is not accurate.
The moment is not too big for him. He's been here. He's done it. He understands it. I'm excited to see him get down on Sunday.
I think
really
the
am.
experience of already having played in the Super Bowl is huge. I mean, obviously,
Major.
you guys have both been a part of championships. It's just a different thing. Like the cameras, the lights, the tickets, the press.
Okay, he cool.
There's just all of this. The opening night, like he's already done all of this.
He walking. Look how he walking the ball.
Right, he's walking like somebody who's been there before. So he knows what to expect. Those nerves before the game, he's already felt that. Whether that's going to reflect in whether they win the game or not, we'll find out. But having that experience, I think, is a huge difference maker.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chiefs have been here how many times? So that's why we pick them every single year, because they've already done it. They've already seen it. And he's played tremendous in the Super Bowl. 71% completion percentage, 304 passing yards, passing touchdown, 103 passer rating, 15 rushing attempts for 70 yards. It's that fumble, and that's the difference, is that he has to play a clean game. You cannot, especially in a Super Bowl, give a team like the Kansas City Chiefs an extra opportunity. That is really what killed him. And I think he's going to play tremendous, not just because he's already done it, but coming off that last performance against the Commanders, the whole team isn't exactly the same as been here before. But when you have that momentum, the year that Saquon has had, despite the fact that everyone is trying to stop Saquon Barkley, no one has been able to. I think they're coming in with a lot more, not a lot more, but a different type of confidence because they've been there before.
See, he's in a unique position because he doesn't have to do that. He says it week in and week out throughout the season. He doesn't have to have the stats. He doesn't have to be an all-pro for them to win. He understands. He's gotten to the point in his career, he knows what to give the game to help them win. So if that means these short passes or key passes or key runs or making sure that, you know, he's not turning the ball over, making sure Saquon gets the ball in his right spots, I don't think he's even worried about it. His whole mindset is, I just have to give the game what it needs to win. And that's what I feel from him. He is not talking about I need to go out there and prove I'm a top 5 quarterback, because you know what? If they win a Super Bowl, we probably are going to be saying that he's in that mix. I mean, even if the numbers don't say it, we're going to be like, well, he's been to 2 Super Bowls, won 1. Look at his record over the span. He's has the 3rd or 4th best record amongst these quarterbacks. We're going to say these things.
You have to. I think you have to say it already. Going to 2 Super Bowls out of the last 3, I think you already have to put him in that conversation.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't think he has anything to prove. He just has to be steady, don't turn the ball over, and control the game.
No, he really, honestly, doesn't have anything to prove, but people feel a certain way about him at the quarterback position. And because of that, it's natural to feel that way and want to prove people and the doubters wrong.
The best way to do that is win the game.
Is win. Yeah, that's the best way.
Of course. That's the plan.
He already
had
a tremendous game in the Super Bowl, and people still say this. So he just got to go win. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.